Number 9, avoid that which has doubt. It should be has instead of as doubt. So the Prophet mentioned in a very famous hadith, Da' ma yuribaka ila ma la yuribuk. Leave that which makes you doubt for that which does not make you doubt. Quite often we have a matter, we're not sure whether it's halal or haram. Then the proper approach is to stay away. Right? Now, that matter may be either it's halal or it's haram, we don't know. And if you have a doubt, then it is better to keep away. It could be that the matter is haram itself, but we don't have enough knowledge, or it's halal itself, but we don't have enough knowledge about it. So it's always better to keep away. There's a long hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He says, Innal halal bayyin wa innal harama bayyin wa baynahuma umurun mushtabihat la ya'lamuhunna kathirun minan nas faman ittaqa ash-shubahat faqad istabra'a li dinihi wa irdih wa man waqa'a fi ash-shubahat waqa'a fi al-haram. That the halal is clear, the haram is clear, but between these two there are some gray matters which not many people know about, and the one who avoids them protects his religion and his honor, and the one who goes after it will end up into haram. If you go after the doubtful matters, you will end up in haram. So when you have a doubt, until you can clarify that doubt, it may be that the religion has a doubt about that issue, or it may be because you didn't have the knowledge. Either way, it is better to keep away until you can confirm before you go into a doubtful matter and end up doing something haram. Now, sometimes we are not sure if we are able to resist, our ability to resist something that is haram. We have this. So, for example, you're mixing a group of friends, drinking alcohol, and you were there. You had like a staff party or something like that, and you were there, and people are drinking, and they have dancing and music and everything. And you said, I am strong enough, to go and sit there, and I wouldn't drink and I wouldn't mix and I would that. That issue is very dangerous. And if you have any doubt that of your ability to deal with that, it's better. In fact, it is always better to keep away from haram environment because you may end up falling into it. The haram is prohibited to everyone. It's not that Allah is punishing us. These things that Allah has made haram, they are haram for everyone, the believer and the disbeliever. But this believer doesn't acknowledge it. But the reality is Allah has made humanity. And so these things that He has created is for the benefit and the protection of all humanity. And so when Allah creates something and says eating pig is haram, it's haram for both the Muslim and the non-Muslim. When Allah says stealing and cheating is haram, it's not only for Muslims, it is for the whole of humanity. And so we've got to understand that these application of halal and haram is a universal application. Like the Jews, for example, they would allow you, they wouldn't charge interest with their fellow Jews, but when it comes to the non-Jews, they go full ahead and said, yeah, we're allowed to charge non-Jews interest. They have one rule for themselves and one rule for the other. We don't have that. What is halal, it's halal for the whole of humanity, and what is haram, it's haram for the whole of humanity. And we must not make something forbidden to one group and then allow it for another group. This is why racism and all of this casteism and all of that comes in. When we begin to deprive, we make something haram for certain people and we make it halal for others. When we have favoritism, this is not allowed, and we should not do this. The Prophet says, even if Fatima, who's my daughter, stole, I would cut off her hand. The rule applies to all. So we are not allowed to make selective thing of saying this is haram for you and that's halal for you. And the last principle is there are certain situations in life where the halal is not accessible, and so we are allowed to make available for a life and death situation in which you are allowed to partake of the haram. So the halal is available out there as an alternative, but you may not have the physical circumstance in that moment to access that halal, and the only thing you have to access is a haram. Like as the Quran mentioned, that He has only forbidden for you what dies of itself, and blood and the flesh of swine, over which any other name other than Allah has been invoked. But if, however, you are driven by a necessity that you have to eat a piece of pig to survive and live, there are two conditions: you don't crave it, and you don't eat more than you need to survive. Then in that case, Allah says the sin will not be upon you. Allah will forgive you for that. Because the whole precept of Allah is Allah wants ease for you. That Allah does not want you to have hardship. Allah wants ease for you and not hardship. And so in a situation where it's life and death, in those kind of circumstances, Allah says, partaking, if it's only the haram available, take just enough to survive and then get back into finding ways to get back in contact with the haram, with the halal. And so these are some of the principles. I know we went a little bit over the time. There's a lot to cover. And hopefully we can benefit in some way. So these are what the scholars use to be able to decide and determine things, new matters that come up and all of that. They make decisions about these things based on some of these principles. These are not all the principles, but these are the main ones. All right.